Hey guys, what's going on? We got something interesting today. So, I had a unique conversation with my dad yesterday, and this all happened when I was sitting on the couch just watching YouTube videos, just doing nothing, just chilling at home. And he came up to me and he's like, why are you wasting your summer basically? You know, what are you doing to better further what you want to do in your future? And so I got to thinking, I was like, well, what do I want to do in my future? And I know the thing I would love to do in my future is I want to be a professional landscape wildlife photographer. That is something that I strive to be in the future. And I told him this, he knows this. And he came to me and he's like, what are you doing now to do that? You know, he's like, what are you doing to get to where you want to be? He's like, he called it the hope train. He said I was riding the hope train. So this spurred up a whole conversation. I want to talk all about that right after this intro. So, he asked me what was I doing to better further my future, what I wanted to be in the future. I wanted to be a wildlife landscape photographer on a professional, full-time level, traveling and taking photos, doing what I love to do. And he said, what are you doing to further that? I was like, well, I don't know. I don't think I can do anything, right? I can't drive. I can't go take photos that I want to take. He's like, but photos is only half of it. He got me to start thinking about what does it actually take to be a professional photographer that makes money. And he says, how do you make money? What are you going to do to make money? Right? You get the photos, but who cares if you have photos? What are you going to sell them? How are you going to sell them that? So that drove me to start finding out what does it really take. And I had a super long conversation with him. So what it came down to being was, yeah, I had photography down. I had the ability to take photos. I'd gotten pretty good at taking photos. I knew nothing about sales. I knew absolutely nothing about marketing, running a business, sales, how to sell a good product and get customers. I knew nothing about that. So I'm going to change that now because I want to do that. So my dad challenged me to start pursuing after what I want for my future, to start pursuing my dream. So what I ended up doing was I went to the library. And at the library, I got these. I checked out 6 books. And I requested another like 10 or 12. All on marketing, business. What's a good book I'm working on? All sorts of stuff. So I can learn how to be a better businessman, how to sell products, how to start a business, because that's the half that many photographers don't talk about. That's the half that they don't share as much about. They'll talk about learning how to hone your craft, which is so important, learning just how to take good photographs. But if you want to take it a step further, like I want to do, and I want to be a professional, eventually I'm going to have to learn how to be a good salesman, how to sell my photos and get people to buy them. And that's not going to come just from me guessing, throwing myself on the hope train, as my dad says, hoping people will buy, hoping that I become successful, hoping that this all works out. Because that doesn't really happen. No one, as he says, no one has ever succeeded from the hope train. They always create a plan, they always pursue, they always go on and do their best. So I'm one who doesn't like reading as much, especially about stuff I'm not interested in. And so this is going to be a challenge for me. All these thick books, 6 of them. I have 3 weeks to read them by. I started on this one, Blue Ocean Strategy. None of these are sponsored. These are just books I found. All talking about business and marketing. This one is talking about how to find the blue oceans, talking about finding a new market and not going and trying to compete against already built markets. Super good, not very far into it, but I'm liking it already, so that's a good book. And this is something I encourage for so many people. I'm new at this, and I know so many people have done it before me, and so I encourage now that you do this as well. If there is something that you want, if there is something that you absolutely want, especially in your future, what can you do now? What are you going to do now, right? My excuse for not supposedly being a professional photographer was, oh, I can't drive, I can't get around, my parents won't let me travel by myself necessarily, I need them and they're busy at work, so I obviously can't go take good photos. Also, I don't have, good lenses, I don't have all this. Well, who cares, right? That's not what I'm doing, that's saying what I can't do, and I gotta figure out what I can do now. And what I can do now is I'm working so I can get some more equipment so I can have what I'd like, but I'm also doing what I don't enjoy, which is reading boring books on marketing and businesses. Not what I enjoy. I like reading, but not that much. I don't do it very often. And I'm doing that to pursue my dream. I am doing that so I can get what I want. Sometimes you have to do what you don't want to pursue what you do want. Because if I were to focus on I have to learn about selling the invisible, I have to learn how to sell stuff and marketing and I have to learn about that. Or if I think, I want to be walking in the mountains in Canada, I want to be exploring the Grand Canyon, I want to be doing all these things and getting paid to go to these places and take photos of them, which sounds just unbelievable. That is my inspiration. That's why I'm reading these books. That's why I have 6 here on this desk that I'm going to read. That's why I've got another 10 or 12 that are coming in at some point that I'm going to read. I'm going to learn how on earth to do this so that I can become a better photographer. But this isn't just about me doing what I want. This is more about us as a people doing what we want and what we have to do to get what we want. We have to work hard. We have to strive. We have to pursue so hard, and we have to not just throw it off and hope it comes. We have to try to get to what we want. This applies in so much of our life. Athletes, they have to train every single day to get peak condition, to be able to do the certain moves, to be able to accomplish what is so hard. But you see people who do that, and what happens? They become stars. They become wildly famous, This isn't necessarily about fame, but they get their dreams. Or you see musicians who practice and practice and practice and practice the same piece for hours and memorize it just so they can perform it a couple times. And they do this over and over, and they constantly are working to become better. And why? Because they want to be known as a good musician. They want to be known as someone who's skilled. So that is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm reading all these books, and I'm going to be doing a lot of research and doing a lot of learning on how to be a businessman. But this is a changing point, I think, because this is something I just desire. I want to be a photographer. And I got to do something now so that when I'm 20, 30 years old, I've set myself up when I'm 15 so that by then I will have the ability to make money, to be successful, and do what I love. They say the best jobs are the ones you enjoy. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I think it's better if you can do something you enjoy and make pretty decent money. So I have to start learning. I have to start reading this, finishing this book. I am not very far at all. I've got 3 weeks to finish these. But yeah, I just really encourage you, if there's something you want in your future, you've got to start now. Start now. Try and figure out, how can I get to that point? How can I get from X to Y, right? And pursue on to Z. Whatever. How can I do this now instead of hoping, when I have money, when I have my license, when I have blah, blah, blah. What can you do now? Is there anything, because there is something you can do, is there anything you can do now in order to get that? I am a very strong believer in God. I am a very, very strong believer in who He is and what He does. And I believe that we have to constantly pursue Him. This is our Christian walk, our Christian life. I think that is all about the same thing. We have to constantly pursue God. We have to do the things sometimes that are uncomfortable or things we don't enjoy. But it's all to pursue God. And why? So we can have that relationship with Him. So we can have that friendship with Him, that Paul talks about, not being a servant, but a friend knows the master's plans, right? The friend knows his friend's plans. And that's what we want to strive to be with. We want to be that friend of God. And so, yeah, A really interesting episode. All came up just from a conversation my dad came, and just, yelled at us for watching YouTube on the couch doing nothing. But it's really gotten me thinking. And I think it is so good that it happened. I am so happy. I don't regret having that conversation, even though it was hard. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe, hit that like button, and I got some reading to do, so I will see you, and thanks for watching. Bye.